Welcome to episode 7 of the We Rock podcast. We're live, and this time we're on site.
Finally face to face.
Yeah, I mean, y'all don't realize it, but y'all can't see us at all. Most of the time, we can't see each other. Today we're actually together at the SMBA Convention, which I'm sure y'all are tired of hearing about anyway.
You look better in person.
Well, you know, I smell better too. So we are at the Woodlands Hotel. What is this?
Resort. Curio collection.
Wow, that sounds fancy. That's a bit much for me, I think. So, yeah. So I got a text from Duff. Hold on one second. Duff is asking what time, and it's now.
Now.
So, no. So welcome to
Games Day.
So, no, we're live and on site for the convention. Today is Friday, and we just sat through Jed's educational topic, talking about designing things, really focusing on some of old Gene Fanley stuff, which has been great. I know the Fanleys pretty well. They're great folks. So we got to listen to that, and of course, everybody got to be hands-on. What did you feel about it?
That was by far one of the most interesting educational sessions I have ever sat in on.
Yeah, that was very fun. I learned a lot.
Oh, by the way, let me go ahead and this is a different animal because now we are set up a little bit more professionally. We have 4 mics set up. So that voice you heard is my son James. He's sitting here with us, and he actually got to enjoy some of that.
One of our esteemed reviewers.
Yes. He's the one who has told you that if you're bored, it's a great way to fall asleep.
Good, yeah.
There you go. No, I said that was a great way to pass time. Kylie was the one that said it was a great way to fall asleep.
So. Yeah. No, so you enjoyed it, right? It worked. You think you got something out of it?
It was very hands-on, and especially, I brought a couple of my guys here with me, and one of them has never put together a drawing before, and he felt pretty intimidated to do it.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, man, just let it go. Have fun with it.
Yeah. But James, James, you did it. This is your first time even doing
James
design.
knocked it out of the park.
What did you feel about it?
Well, honestly, I didn't know what to do at first, but then when I drew the design on paper, I was like, oh, wait, this could go there, and this could go there, and polished, non-polished,
So, yeah, I mean, James hasn't, he's drawn stuff in my office and for years and whatnot, but this is the first time he's really been, given a direct subject to have to draw on or something like that. And I have forever not really wanted to sit there and dictate what he's drawing, let him do what he's going to do, and just kind of let it be. If he asks for help, I'll give him help, but let him kind of do his own thing, and so it's really worked out well. No, it's been great. Speaking of, and here's Jed. Jed's pulled up.
He's the instructor
So
of the
this
class.
is the incredible Jedi, as some of us know him, Jed Hendrickson. How is it going?
Good. I hope we had a good time. I did.
I enjoyed it.
I really liked it. That was
time.
really great.
Terrific.
That's always my favorite thing we do at AICA anyway. So it's entertaining because you get to, you're pulling away from those standard things, right? It's not, hey, I want flowers and those kind of things. It's, hey, this is the concept. This is what we need. Just, try something else.
We're really looking at the big picture. Right. There's going to be ornamentation details and things like that we're going to have to work out.
Yeah. But, that's kind of some of the things that you expect anyway. You're going to have, I've said for years that, given the opportunity, any family is going to mess up a good design. But if you don't have that opportunity to create something different and start somewhere different, you're never going to push yourself to do something different.
Yes.
And look, I had to tell James, because James is like, well, I don't like my first drawing or whatever. But even in there, I know I drew up a couple of things, but my drawings are never really the first ones. True. I've now been in the industry 20 years, and the 20 years I've been doing this, I can count on one hand how many times I got it right on the first shot.
And it's also different. Being put on the spot.
Yeah.
I have no problems drawing in front of families whatsoever. It does not bother me at all. But whenever you're drawing in front of your peers,
that's hard.
It's different. Yeah. And that's the thing, nobody here is going to tear anybody down.
No.
We're going to do what we can to build them up, because at the end of the day, that's what it takes to make this keep working. The camaraderie that we have, building one another up, sharing the knowledge that we know. And your session was it's one of the most unique ones that I've ever sat through. Because normally it's somebody telling you how they do it, which you did pepper in some of that, but then you turned the reins loose. You said, show me how you'll do it. And then there was the back and forth discussion afterwards, and it was very, very, very constructive. And especially like I was just saying before you stepped on, one of my guys that I brought with me has never drawn before, very intimidated to do so. And he turned out a quality drawing.
Was that the one with the Celtic cross at the top?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
No, that was John Scott. Oh, no, sorry.
It is intimidating. But this is the best group
Absolutely.
to do it in front of, because they will offer constructive criticism. They understand what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You go to an art class and they have no concept of what we're trying to accomplish.
Correct.
When you teach your especially within this group, we're teaching that encouragement as well. It's not, look, within your regional association, pick one. I don't care. National association, whatever it is. Nobody's coming in going, that was a horrible design. What were you thinking? They may think that. I have no idea. But they're not going to come out and say that kind of stuff. They're going to say, maybe try this or try that.
Sure.
Have you looked at this, or why did you go that way? Because, as I've said before with Monica has quoted me on this, is saying, and I said it earlier, that given the opportunity, any family is going to ruin a good design, and that's true, because what's going to happen is you've got this great concept of something, and they go, oh, I love it. Can we put praying hands on it? Like, what?
And some people just love conformity. Yeah. They like seeing what's out there in the cemetery, and
yes.
And some people don't want to stand out. They want it to look like everything down the row, and that's fine. But
even if your whole area is focused on that conformity of a SERP top, being able to push yourself on something where it's a little different as far as an outside shape also changes the way you think about inside the SERP top.
Very much.
It's not just how you... In fact, I think it was you and I that were talking about the design contest that's out front. And some of the pieces, you and I had gone over one of my pieces that's on there for display that's got a different panel set up, where I will do... One of the things I've been doing as of late is on a double outline panel, instead of going 0.1, 0.25, 0.1, I'm doing 0.125, and then I'll do a 0.4, and then I do 0.25. So I've got two different weights of my V-lines, and it changes the feel of those panels. And you can reverse that and go the other direction. And it even changes it further. So otherwise, Bert Guest always called them Band-Aids, right?
Yes.
And taking that Band-Aid panel and just doing something simple with it, or a little unique or different, changes how that feels.
Absolutely. It takes it away from being a Band-Aid to being part of the ornamentation.
Yes.
Part of the design.
Yeah. And I think getting people to think outside. We're using the perfume bottles and the shampoo bottles, because that was Gene's thing.
Yes. And
was talking about those kind of things. And when we're showing that you can take something as rudimentary as that, and I've said for years, I've got pictures of the most random stuff on my phone, and pictures on walls. When was it the other day you were talking about Austin, about the going to Chicago and taking pictures of the walls and your wife getting onto you, and it's just. Jed, you've got a lot of pictures of your grandkids on your phone.
Yes.
How many stones you got pictures of? About the same? Are we looking at we're like a 50-50 here?
Yes, absolutely. There are thousands.
Yeah.
There might be tens of thousands.
That's why, every time they come out with a new iPhone, I've got to get the bigger size, because I'm worried that I'm going to fill it up with something like pictures of rocks or carpet, you know.
Tree bark, all sorts of
Designs.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, James, you mentioned you didn't like your first design.
Yes.
I worked for our family monument for years, and I never came up with one I liked. And I finally asked Charlie Hunt to help me. And then we finally got somewhere. Sometimes it's too personal,
Yeah.
and it takes an outside perspective. So
Yeah.
I've drawn lots of things I don't like, but
Yeah.
sometimes customers like them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's a lot of things that I have not discarded but put aside, you know, and it's
Yes.
they're not for today. They need to be refined and whatnot. And,
Because one day there's going to be that person that walks in the shop, and as soon as you start to have that conversation with them, you're going to go, "Oh, I know, pull this one."
Know exactly
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
and that 4x6x2 gray granite with double outline panels on it, and in black litho and everything, that's sitting there waiting for that family.
That one's the Scott special, right?
Yeah, no, I actually will open that V line up way more than
Yeah.
it needs to be, so I can add a lot more paint.
Yeah.
Well, the way I like to apply my paint is to lay it down flat and then just pour it.
Absolutely.
But you know, this has been, like I said, one of my favorite things that we do for AICA, and I enjoyed it here to see folks who've never even had that opportunity to try this, right?
Right.
Because this is completely new to them.
It perhaps it's routine for us at AICA. We do a lot of sketching, a lot of designing, but it is hard. And I mean, you heard I can't sketch, and it was beautiful.
It was great.
Wait a minute,
yeah, it was really good.
James had said something about his with the swing on it.
Yeah, I asked
And he
for.
asked me to help him draw the child. I said, "You just need to have the representation of it. We're just trying to get the idea." For those of you who are out there listening, going, oh, "I can't draw." You can. You can create that idea. Nobody's ever looking for perfection on some of this stuff. The perfection comes with the cleanup later. Sell it first.
Yes, these are sketches.
Yeah.
Michelangelo did sketches.
Yeah.
Bernini did sketches. They
Yes.
didn't just create a finished
Right,
product.
yeah.
No, and there's a lot more talent out there than people give themselves credit for.
Yeah.
I find people are much more talented than they will allow themselves
Correct.
to be. If you build it, they will come. if you will put yourself out and try doing some sketching, you will do it.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean,
Like-
even at my shop, I've got Abby there, and I've got Janine there. And how about Abby on the things that she created?
Yeah, it was really good. It was really detailed.
She came up afterwards and said, "I was too embarrassed to send it to you."
Uh-huh.
It was a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
And you gave her a couple of comments.
And my comments were
Yeah.
super minimal.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I missed the part about you berate her in the hallway. But
Yeah. She lost her job, and I felt bad. I hired her back. It's fine.
Getting a little too chummy, huh?
Yeah. It's like, this is so bad. You've got to go.
And what I liked about what you talked about is that there's always inspiration, even when you're trying not to copy somebody.
Yes.
It's always something that you've seen before,
Absolutely.
even without realizing it.
Yeah, it's all around us. You just have to look and see.
Yeah.
Now, people will think I'm crazy because all of a sudden I'll stop and take a picture of something that's on the ground. But
Oh yes.
Right.
okay.
And my
Yeah.
inspiration for the piece I drew was that little boy on like the board outside
Oh
for
yes.
the design contest. I saw that and I was like, that's a good idea. So why don't I put a little girl on the swing to represent that?
So what's funny, I think I mentioned wrong. I think I said it was Terry Joy. It may have been Monica who created the remember the Jesus bronze holding the swing?
Yes. Yes.
And when I saw that was the first thing I thought. I go, I don't think he's ever seen that piece.
No, I haven't.
And it's just one of my favorite all-time pieces, and I believe Cold Spring produced it,
I believe so.
and it's amazing. But to have something that's interactive and brings that attention to something that's meaningful is huge.
I feel like I missed an opportunity today to finally show the world my washing hands.
If you have missed this, Jed,
I have.
There's a new series coming out, and he's trying to sell this to Creative Premiere or one of those folks, D-Mart, and it's if you take the praying hands and you turn them ever so slightly, just about 90 degrees, they're now washing hands.
You can put a sink behind it.
Maybe put some bubbles on top of it.
Yeah. That just clouds. It's your cloud vector.
Yeah, it's the cloud. It's like praying hands in heaven.
So I'm frequently limited because I'm doing flat grass markers, but we have recently been doing much more work in silhouettes.
Right.
We can reproduce the image or the feeling of a set of praying hands that takes up the same amount of space as a small cross between the dates.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be gigantic and overwhelming.
You're right.
Trying to find the correct way to reproduce that symbol so it harmonizes with everything else can be difficult.
Well, and you get tired of seeing the same thing, so you start pushing. I've been playing a lot with silhouettes. I like them quite a bit because you can do so much more with it, and it really allows for the emotion of what's there.
Yes.
In fact, I've got one right now that you're not allowed to see until I've finished it and I enter it into something. But it's a silhouette of a young boy, and it's his silhouette, and it turned out phenomenally well in the drawing because it just brings the emotion. It doesn't bring the hard part of seeing the full figure of the face, but it brings out that joy of that moment.
Yeah, like when I'm trying to just draw random stuff in your office, I'm not the best at drawing like actual details on people. So what I would do is if I was trying to do a soldier like saluting, I would have it there and I would just draw the silhouette of it and then like draw it in as if it was polished or chiseled out.
Yeah.
So it looks a lot better than me trying to add detail.
Yeah.
We one of the sketches I showed was a very rough draft of Gene Fenley doing it's a large family monument, and the statue, was just a couple of ovals. He wasn't trying to finish it. He was just trying to see how is this going to look with the various pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can refine it later.
Yeah, I mean, and you're just trying to get the concept. And I know it's funny because I've gotten to where my habits have changed, and the things I'll sketch on or draw, and so there are things that make things easier. So, of course, I drew my stuff on the iPad just because it's what I've become more familiar with.
Right.
And I can erase and undo fairly quickly and add color.
Absolutely.
And line weight becomes really quick.
Right, and you
so
can...
I was playing with, you had shown this picture of some, of the necklace that had several ovals, and it's going to be hard for people to understand what we're talking about until, we may just share this, Austin, on the podcast page.
We should.
So this is the necklace, and it's just some circles that are kind of sitting inside each other with an oval, and so it's kind of nice. So I took it and then kind of created this elevated area where we put a hole through it. The circles are basically somewhat in the same position, but there's certain things about texture that people lose, and it's studying other people. The idea behind that's Dan Bellin. And so for those of y'all who don't know, Dan Bellin is out of British Columbia. And he is secretly one of the best designers there is. And just, I asked him one day, he did this texture work and with a stipple texture work, and it just faded out so evenly. I said, Dan, how'd you do that? He goes, with a hammer and chisel. I said, okay, like with a 9-point, a 4-point? He says, no, with a point. And I just would go out every couple of days and hit it a few times and then step away and come back. And it was so even and so beautiful how it just faded out. So there's things like that. It's following certain people, getting certain ideas and concepts, and not being afraid to break those rules. And,
Absolutely. We don't think of taking a point and a hammer and just fading out.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about the program you draw with on your iPad?
So this is it is called Sketchbook, and it is by Autodesk.
Okay.
You can download it.
I use it sometimes. It's really nice to, when you're doing symmetrical things, you can use that, or just trying to draw straight lines. It's a lot easier than pen on paper.
All right.
So you can come and bring, and I've got, see if I can open stuff up and show you. You're able to actually bring in images and draw over the top of them.
Sure.
You can create an opaque and then just sketch right over the top. It's kind of nice, and you get different pencil ends. I think it's free to download.
It is.
But if you want to upgrade, it's a nominal fee for a bunch of brushes and stuff like that, different textures and things like that, which I did. And so it allows you to kind of really quickly create a sketch. And I've done it with other things. If I'm trying to bring in something real life and show something, now you're limited on fonts and things like that, but the fonts are insignificant really when in a sketch.
Yes.
So
isn't it interesting? Perhaps we're coming full circle. We all admire the great renderings of our predecessors, Haywood Ellis, these beautiful color renderings, and then we've drifted away from that to just a CAD drawing, and now we're drifting back to where we can provide a beautiful sketch done by hand.
Well, it's funny. There's a thing that I covet that I know I'm way off of, and it's the Harold Schaller Award, and because I have one of his paintings, and to have to work for that award. That award's all about how you present. It is not about. It's about the design and how it's presented, and it is not the finished product.
Right.
And that is something that would be very difficult. But man, it's because the competition of people like Terry Joy and Monica Johns and Bran Oswalt, who I think Bran owns like half of them in the last 10 years. So.
Absolutely. Ken Reeson.
Yes.
His designer, is it Venus? She's very good.
So, no, I mean, they've got even Dan Giroux. He doesn't give himself enough credit. He's a phenomenal designer.
Very modest.
But, so we talk about all these great designers, but even still in this group, we watched a bunch of that stuff just come through. And, I mean, yes, we had some AICA folks in there. So when you get away from that, you look at some of the girl who had, I think her response was, I like to shop.
Yes.
Right? And it's the purse. And so she didn't quite know what that piece was going to be, and I looked at it and I go, that's glass. All day long, that's a glass piece. I want something translucent there. I want to be able to kind of see through it, but I want a little bit of color. But the shape was great.
It was really good.
You know, it needs some. For me, it needs a little refining. For some, it may be perfect, but I loved it.
Oh. What's the first thing she told me? I can't sketch. I can't sketch. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it only took her a few minutes.
Yes. Is it perfect? No, but that's not what we were after.
No. Right. So, no, but I think that was great. I'm glad you came out and did it. And
thank you.
Of course.
It was great fun.
Of course, you know, you are a resident Texan. Not really a resident, but via
honorary
Santa Barbara. So
I have my honorary plaque right on my wall, right next to my desk.
I wonder, can we get a flag flown over the Capitol for him?
Ooh, that would not be a horrible idea.
I have a flagpole at home to fly it on.
Yeah.
The neighbors might be interested to see that instead of the Gladstone
There
flag.
you go. Yeah.
Well, you know, they may think you're moving, so.
They might be happy.
If you're looking for a monument shop in Santa Barbara, there's a number to call.
I'm waiting for that big offer.
So, well, we appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
And this has been great. And of course, you're sticking around tomorrow for the banquet and everything, right?
Yes.
Because we can't send you back to that place over there on the left coast. So
we're staying through the whole thing.
Good.
It's our pleasure to be here.
Good. Well, as always, we love seeing you. Of course, I get the pleasure of seeing you again in September.
Yes.
And so that's going to be fun.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And the weather's better there, right?
It better be.
For those of y'all who don't know, it's 1,000 degrees outside?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
and like a swimming
998 by my last check.
Huh?
But 998 by
998.
my last check.
Okay. And the humidity may as well be just it's a straight out hot tub. Yeah.
Look at the feels like.
That can't be right. So my wife just showed me the phone. It says 98 degrees, feels like 178.
Oh my gosh.
So that is right there. I think that is literally Beelzebub's ear hole.
Go outside. Make sure you have a drink.
It is what it is. You know, we do live in Texas. What does the ear say? Feels like 110. That may be a little bit more accurate. I don't think I can repeat that part. I'm going to start getting censored. We're like Jason Campbell standing here. Yep, you can't do that one either.
No, what did they say? What was the one I read the other day? Said it's so hot outside that I just saw two hobbits jump over my fence in my backyard and throw a ring in.
That's good. I like it.
So, but no, we appreciate you coming out. How have you felt about the convention?
Oh, this is a great group because they're always so enthusiastic. I feel at home here. It's really an honor to be invited to speak, and I hope it went over well. I had so much fun. I was so looking forward to it.
Good.
It's my pleasure.
Good. So, and I didn't pay him to say that for what it's worth. I mean, it's
No, Sammy will. No.
Yeah, Sammy will. Yeah, there's a check. There's a check coming later.
Well, your group is very nice.
Wait, they're passing around checks.
I asked if they could comp Debbie's registration, and of course. We assumed
That's because we like Debbie more.
That's true. That's usually the case. I understand.
So, but no, again, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
And but other than that, this convention's been pretty good.
It's been a great one.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Duff over there, James. Grab Duff and get him on your headphones there.
Or you can take mine. Whatever.
Oh, you're good. Still
Okay,
around.
I stay.
So this is
where we insert hail to the chief.
This is El Presidente.
El,
Like this is basically Santa Ana. No, not Santa Ana.
El Jefe?
No. I don't know that you resemble as much Sam Houston. If we're going to pick a Marabou Lamar,
I don't know who that is.
I'm gonna hope Perry hears that.
Probably will.
So what do you think of the convention?
Well, it's going really well. First of all, Duff Morrow, I know I already got an introduction, president of Southern Monument Builders. It's really great, and I have a story about the convention that I'd like to share with everybody. I was talking with the Metalcraft sales rep, Charlie, and we were talking about the importance of conventions, and he was telling me a story about how he had a retailer that he was talking back and forth with on the phone for months about a problem. And he's at the convention today. They were able to fix their issue in 5 minutes by talking, face to face. And that's the kind of stuff that you get at the convention that you can't get, on Facebook, on an email, on a phone call. And that's just the importance of our convention, is to be able to come out and meet face to face with the wholesalers, network with other retailers. And there's just nothing quite like this.
No, this has been. I've said this before. SMBA is family for me, and it's we don't miss this one.
It's a family reunion every time.
I'm assuming I've only visited a couple other associations and their conventions, and I'm not a part of them, but I assume the others are similar. But for us, this has always been family, and I look forward to it. And of course, it's funny because we get the week of, as we're coming up, Monday, Tuesday, all that, we're all calling each other. We're going to see each other at the end of the week, but we're still calling each other. Hey, what's going on with this? What's the plan here? What's the plan there? I'm going to see you in a couple of days, but I'm just as guilty as the next guy. But we're all calling each other, trying to see what's going on. But these are always the people that I'm calling for advice and how do I do this or how do I change that? I always joke about if I need to know what's going to possibly go wrong, I call Perry and see what when he says, no, don't touch that with a 10-foot pole, then, don't touch it at all. But these are always the folks that are going to have your back and take care of you.
Yes.
So it's always good to see each other again and get together and get, I don't know about y'all, but you kind of get, it's been so busy, you kind of get close to burnout a little bit at times.
This is a good pick-me-up. It's a good refresher.
Yeah. That doesn't mean you're going to go outside and feel refreshed.
No, not here. I'd like to comment on what Duff said. The importance of coming to these conventions. I'm the greenest one here at the table, and there's years.
Is that because your shirt?
What, aqua green? I don't know. But it wasn't until I started coming to these, and it was pretty early. Whenever my shop opened, then I started attending conventions like these. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for things like this and getting to know the people here and just how generous everybody is with willing to share their information, how they do what they do. It's cannot stress it enough how important these are.
Yeah, it's an industry like none other, and nobody can understand the ins and outs of the industry unless you're in it yourself. And it's you can talk to business people in your local community, and it's just not the same.
Yeah.
The type of business that we have, telling stories for families and their loved ones, marking the final resting place of a life well lived. It's just not something you can do in any other business, but business we're in, and nobody can understand that, like I said, than your peers, and that's why it's so important to be here. And then we can also, sit here and tell each other our complaints about certain things, and everybody understands exactly what you're talking about. And then, like Tony and both of y'all were saying, Austin, also the just advice on how do you tackle this issue, what would you do here, and y'all were talking earlier with Jed about different design, and it's so interesting to be in a classroom setting and to see everybody's different take on everybody's looking at the same information that was presented, the same visual aids we were using to take inspiration off of, and just seeing how everybody takes that, what direction they go with it. And it's just very interesting and very very refreshing to see everybody's take on certain things.
Yeah. Well, and even back to the design class, we get to see not only, a lot of us have been doing this a little while. There's some that have been in it a short period of time, but then for you and myself, because our boys were in that design course and got to draw. I mean, we now know that one of your boys has the intent to try to kill the other. Which is rather interesting. You better keep an eye on that one. So, but no, they did really good work. I mean, it was
absolutely.
Did you know that they had that in them? I mean, had they been kind of playing with it at all?
Not really in the business. One of my sons really likes doing artwork and sketching things. So I knew he was going to be kind of good at it. What Tony was referring to is my other son on the monument he designed. He put his brother's birth date, and I believe it was today for the final date on there.
Yes.
So,
be careful if they're swimming together.
Yeah, they're not at the pool, are they?
Yeah, they're there right now.
Pool privileges have been revoked.
Yeah, so it was really good.
No, it was, but it's great to see these young guys doing it and having the excitement. And we'll see how this pans out. I mean, they're 12 years old, but to see that they have that enthusiasm, and I've heard from others that have grown up doing that kind of same thing.
Absolutely. What better way to introduce them to the industry, but introduce them young so they can get a feel for it?
Yeah.
Other thing that's sort of unique about monument industry conventions is people are willing to share.
Yeah.
There's not very often an adversarial feeling.
Well, most of us.
Yes. No, certainly.
Yeah. There's some individuals out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
But most of the times they're not showing up, or they're not really an issue.
No.
That's true.
I mean, and that's kind of. I spent probably 30 minutes talking to one of my competitors who's here, and we're not really competitors. He's one of the largest monument builders in the state, and he and I talked about all kinds of other stuff. We both went to A&M, and so we talked about a little bit of that and other things. And, it's kind of one of those things where we don't hate each other. We're just different things, and I'm not going to win every sale, and he's not going to win every sale, and I'm not trying to beat him up over it. I'm going to do my own thing, but we're going to I have called him a couple of times if I have something I need. Hey, do you have this or whatever? And he's there to help. But that's kind of what these associations are about, is helping each other out.
Absolutely.
I know I've got a job coming up that's got to go up to Northeast Texas, and Jason Campbell said, hey, call me and I'll come help you. And I mean, who does that? So are you going to do that if you're, I don't know, maybe the car industry does that if you're a dealership, but I doubt it.
Oh, they'll share some inventory, but they also have contractual obligations with whoever they're representing.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, but no, I think, Duff, you feel like the vendors have pretty good show up, and
yeah, we have good showing for vendors, and we always, with anything, I mean, without the support of our sponsors and our vendors, we couldn't do this, and so we're always, happy to have any and all vendors here, and we just hope that they all can generate some leads and come into some more business from this. I know there may be some out there that are at capacity at this point, just like the rest of us. But it's good to see it's good to see who you're buying from, and if you haven't put a name with the face or the voice on the phone or the email, it's good to have them here. And the kids, my kids especially, love coming in here to the display room and looking at all the trinkets and stuff that are given away, and it's always a great time. It's just a great experience, like nowhere else. If you've never been to one, I really encourage you to come and at least try it out. Don't think that that's just not for me. I don't have time. Make the time and come out to one of these regional conventions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think if you're nervous about it, start at the regional side of it. And
yes,
this is me. This is not.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Saying, hey, don't ever go to MBA by any stretch. If you're nervous about it, because then you're not a small fish in a huge pond, right? You can get overwhelmed a little bit, I think, if you go, especially if you go to the big show, the big display shows. It can be a little bit overwhelming. But go to your regional show. They're going to encourage you to go to NBNA anyway. Mm-hmm. So go check it out and see what they've got going on. Make some friends. It's always good to have friends within driving distance anyway. Mm-hmm. Heck, a good example of this is something I still have to do before we leave tomorrow is I have a marker that's shipped to the Schlitzbergers that needs to move from the Schlitzbergers truck to Jason Campbell's truck, and it's on my account. I'm selling it to Jason Campbell, but I also have a slant marker in the bed of Austin's truck that came from Boadie Anderson that needs to go into my truck. So, and none of that happens if I don't know these other folks.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, and one of the most beneficial things here is, like Duff had said, that is the FaceTime with your vendors. And don't try to learn everything there is to learn, or you think there is to learn about your vendors through a brochure or a pamphlet. Let them tell you what they're capable of, because just that little brochure does not even show a tenth of what they're capable of. They're going to open up here. They're going to really lay it out, let you know that, hey, we can do so much more than this. And if anything, you may never purchase that, but at least it puts an idea in the back of your head of something that can be done down the future.
Yeah, well, and there's still, even sitting around here today, there's a handful of ideas that you may not have thought of. I mean, they may even be your vendor, but they're not necessarily readily showing it to you all the time, or you're not paying attention to the mailer that you get in from them. And so you're it comes in, you're throwing it in the trash or the email. We did decide, I don't know if I told you this the other day, but I got on to Mike Riley, who's over at Dakota, and because I had gotten an email from Dakota Granite, and it was their inventory, and this is so I got it and I looked at it and I deleted it, and within 10 seconds I get a phone call on my cell phone from Mike Riley, and I said, this is a bit disturbing that he's calling me that fast after deleting his email. What kind of tracking devices? So that y'all know, you just be careful. Your vendors are watching you.
Yeah. Well, and to touch on your point about seeing things that you didn't know about, there was a particular instance today that I saw something at a vendor, and I thought, well, I didn't know you had that. Well, we've been sending it out via email for months. So I hadn't seen it. So it's just certain things like that you just maybe don't. We're all busy and don't see it, and it's going to be something that we're going to be able to use, and we'll probably get some on order here pretty soon. So it's really good to, like I said, it's just I can't say enough about it being here in person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and these conventions cost more than just the initial sign-up fee. You get here, you're buying stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a marble baseball that's sitting on Boadie's table that I told him not to sell to you because I'm going to buy it.
Oh, I already have one. It's on my desk right now.
Yeah, it's also good to get the perspective of the vendors. We're all having issues with lead times, and it's also great to listen to what the issues that the actual vendors are having with their lead times, and it's just I hate to say we're all in this together because I don't like that where that came from, but we are. And it's just like one big happy family, the retailers and the vendors. And I think that some of these vendors, I'm friends with a lot of them, and I think that I can all 100%. That's because of being in this association, and I wouldn't have met them otherwise. And I think these guys, even some of these guys that we don't buy from, but I'm still great friends with them, and it's just something you can't get anywhere else.
No, it's not. It's funny how there are people that I've never purchased a thing from that are here, and I still talk to on a regular basis, and we talk all kinds of different things, and they're great folks. And it's not that I don't like their products; it's just I don't know that I've necessarily had the opportunity to sell their products.
Correct.
So, but they're good folks, and you're hard pressed to find somebody who's in our industry who's a bad individual. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. It just means that you're hard pressed to find.
Oh, everyone's got their bad. Every industry's got their bad.
Well, I wasn't going
apples.
to talk directly about you, Austin, but.
The interesting thing is, if you've met a vendor, even if you don't routinely buy from them, if the occasion comes that you need something, you've already established a rapport.
Correct.
They'll take your phone call.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that, well, I know the first convention I came to, I was real leery about coming in the display room because I thought, well, I'm going to be just berated by like a used car salesman, and that is not the case whatsoever. The vendors are very cordial and they're not pushy, and like for your first timer, they love to talk to you, but they're not going to. They're not going to run you over trying to talk to you either. It's just a great experience. I can say that 100% great experience with the Southern Monument Builders Convention for sure.
Yeah. No, this is like we said before. This is the one I look forward to quite a bit. Is the most because this is family. We're getting back together and seeing each other, and we're fully dysfunctional like any other family. But that's okay.
That's family.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
This fly's not about to become family.
Well, it is what it is. He's sitting here swatting at things, and he's about to splat me in the face, and I'm like, I didn't do it.
I'm waiting for it to get closer, so I got the excuse.
So tomorrow we have the safety talk, which we're all looking forward to, right? Because we want to know exactly where we do things wrong. Is that correct?
Sure, it's something that we all need, but we don't want to hear.
Yes.
It's kind of the thing. But we all need it for sure. Very important.
Before this happens, and I don't know that Craig's in here, so we can get away with a lot. Am I the only one that sends him pictures of things just to see what he says?
I do the same thing. I try to give him a coronary.
What are you doing? I don't know. We're going to see if it works.
He wasn't impressed with the picture I sent him of just like a small angle grinder with about a 10-inch blade on it.
Yes.
Well, that's how you not only cut your stone, but do your take care of your cuticles at the same time.
I mean, you just kind of ride them down a little bit. It works.
So tomorrow he'll talk about that. I think he's going to. He and I text back and forth a little bit about some of the stuff. I said I'd like to know about new laws coming up or new things coming up, especially even new tools that can help us be safer. I've heard things about new hard hat rules and things like that, which don't necessarily apply to us, but I do go to commercial sites from time to time and need those kind of things. So I think that's going to be good for a lot of us. I think there's a lot of things that we do haphazardly without knowing it.
Correct.
Sure.
That we go, oh, I didn't know I could, I don't know, not put my foot underneath this thing to catch it when it falls.
Well, we had for years we grind all our bases. So we with a pneumatic grinder with a stone wheel on it. So that sharp edge that's on a base, that's kind of one of our things we like to do is just grind that off. So everything that we have has a kind of a little bevel that we put on there. And we did not have a dust collector in the shop. And coming from one of these safety talks, we got a dust collector. And you don't realize how much dust you are creating until you have a dust collector. You can see it sucking up in there. And, just stuff like that. I mean, it's safer for our employees. It's safer for me, for all of us. I mean, before we were just using a fan and blowing it out the door.
Yes,
And that's not the right way to do it. And,
Were you doing that all with the safety squint at the same time?
we did have safety glasses on, but it's amazing the difference when you have the right safety equipment. And it's not one of those things that you've heard before. Well, if I had to, it would take me longer to put the safety stuff. No, it wouldn't. No, it doesn't. You just turn
the funny thing about that is it would take you. It takes you a half second longer to put on the safety equipment. But when that goes wrong, how much longer does it take you to get
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, and that, that goes over. That's even more than just bodily injury. There's lost revenue that comes from accidents like that, and you don't want anything to ever happen in your shop that is going to cause injury to one of your employees.
Absolutely
God
not.
forbid, at the worst, one of your customers. And I know safety is not one of the sexy topics to talk about. A lot of people roll their eyes. But
You don't think people are lining up to hear safety talks?
well, I'll be in line.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Right, but I get
I'm
what
actually
you're saying.
probably going to see if tonight. I intend to see if I can find pictures to send him in the middle of it.
Yeah, sure. We didn't send any pictures. I already know the answer to the pictures. No evidence.
Well, can you imagine what the cost would be to bring someone like Craig into your own facility?
Oh my gosh!
And here, for relative pittance,
Yes.
you're going to get that information.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and look, for those of y'all who are listening, I mean, to be a member of Southern, it's really not that expensive. It's only $20,000 a year, right? I mean, it's no, wait, that number's wrong. No, I think that's generally the mindset is that it's going to be overly expensive. And right now, I think our membership annually is $100. Is that right?
I think that's right.
Of course, three of us are on the board, and we don't
know. I think that's right.
We all had to look at each
Yeah.
other for confirmation. Real quick.
Yeah. So it's like $100 a year, and to be here, I think, is another $250 a person or something like that. That may be wrong. That may be even high.
I think it's $250 or $275. I
Yeah.
can't remember
So-
the exact number.
Not much, though.
Yep.
I got a glare
No.
yesterday when I had made the comment that said, if you can't afford $275 or $250, you've got bigger problems with your business. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, what's a tank of gas in California?
Credit card company recently rejected my driver's card because we'd gone over the limit. $5 a gallon, so I don't know, it cost $110, $125 to fill up the truck.
So you can either fill up your truck twice or come to convention.
Yes.
I mean, it's ridiculous because, Duff, how many dumb things did you buy last week?
A lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. So I was on vacation last week, so quite a bit.
A lot of things.
Quite a bit. In California,
That was-
mind you.
Oh, mind you. Oh,
That was
dear.
that was just the one shop at the souvenir store, right?
Disneyland and Universal Studios. I did get
Can I get an ice cream? $250.
I did get a Simpsons shirt that says Duff on it for Father's Day. The beer on the Simpsons.
But even me, I mean, I've got. I'll buy things that I think are going to be beneficial or going to bring revenue in, or those kind of deals, and they're a bust. But still, it's not as valuable as
Well,
what we have.
even the small things add up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say that while we were sitting in your presentation earlier, and you brought up that book on lettering,
This is a problem here, actually.
I found
Safety.
safety. I found the book on Amazon, ordered it. I sent the link to Tony. He tried to order it. Apparently, I got the last one, but he found another, so he ordered it.
Yeah, mine was relatively more expensive.
He got the hardcover. I got the paperback.
Yeah, but mine looks antique.
His looks awesome, by the
Yeah.
way.
I've never seen a hardcover.
Hold on, let's see.
I didn't know they made them.
Yeah, well, I bought it. We'll see if it shows up. So for those of y'all trying to figure it out, it is called The Art of Hand Lettering.
Yes.
This thing looks like one of the old
Design
McNeil
book.
books.
McNeil book.
Oh, my word, it does. Look at that.
I have no idea. I mean, this thing could show up to me and it's just the cover, but I probably spent way too much money on it.
Hey, if it's just the cover that shows up, can I have it so I can slide my
Well, I'm a
paperback
little-
in it?
I'm a little perturbed because now I'm clicking on it and the price it's showing
It
on
went
Amazon
down.
is cheaper than what I paid for it.
That's funny. It's about
By
right.
at least 10-15%. Jeez. It's on sale now. There's a run on the book.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I found mine on Thrift Books is where I found mine. I actually got it right when Jed was talking about it. I ordered it because I knew that this was going to happen.
We did it. We did it.
Somewhere there's a publisher going, why is there all of a sudden a run on this book about hand lettering?
We haven't been to sell any in 30 years. When you come to one of these things, I've always, and Perry told me this, and my father-in-law, Perry Giles, and I'm sure that he got it from somewhere else. You have to come with an open mind that when you're coming to one of these conventions, I've got to leave with an idea that'll make me money.
Yes.
And and Tony, you hit on that a while ago. And that's why we have speakers like Jed and Craig. And Craig can save you a lot of money in safety stuff. But just one thing that you can take away from the convention. So it's got to take some effort in you. If you come in here to the convention and just stand around and don't do anything, then you're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
So this isn't something that just you come to a convention, all of a sudden, everything just happens. So it definitely is going to cause, you have to have some effort on your part to be able to get something out of one of these conventions. And there's things little nuggets of information. And sometimes the best nuggets of information you get are down in the lounge area.
Yeah.
And not in the, sorry, Jed, but not in the talk.
No, it's true.
And so
Absolutely.
hanging around where everybody's congregating and not going straight back to your room and turning on the TV is
some of my
a great
best
tip.
ideas that I've ever had, I've gleaned from what I call the monument fish stories, right? Because it's inevitably we're all sitting around talking about, well, I did this or I did that, and like I remember one MBA convention, and I don't remember where we were, and I can't even remember the name of the monument company, but they were telling this story about how they installed a monument through a valley using a helicopter.
Oh,
because it was the only way they could get there. And I said, no, you didn't. There's no way. And they said, no, yeah. And somebody stood there and confirmed it, and there was photos shown, and I said, all right.
Darvin Hendy,
that's
probably.
rather interesting. I mean, that seems like an expensive crane, but, but now I know that's a bit far-fetched.
But now you have a new goal.
Yeah, exactly. That's This is what I live for. In fact, I actually had a mausoleum guy. I was trying to sell a mausoleum, and it's in a spot of the cemetery where they're like, "Well, you can't get to it." And I said, "No, I can get to it. How much money you got?"
I'll give you a little tidbit. So one of my first conventions I came to, I go out with the guys and install regularly. That's one of the things I do. I enjoy doing. I enjoy working outside. I enjoy digging all the aspects. One of the cemeteries that we go to, they require a granite footer, so like granite foundation. Mm-hmm. And the granite foundations we flash the top of them, so it's all steel finish. Well, what does the setting compound do to that? Well, it stains it. So what we used to do is go out there and tape it off with blue painter's tape. And at one of these conventions a long time ago, I was talking about this, taping it off, and Dennis Peters walked up from Fred Cheek Memorials and said, "Why are you taping it off? Just spray it with water. You don't have to tape it off. Just get it wet. Get the foundation wet. Then you put your set right and trim and set it down. Trim it all off before it dries. Now, if it's in the heat of the summer, you got to keep reapplying water. But you do that, and it won't stain it. And that's the kind of stuff that you get. That you don't have to use that stinking painter's tape.
Yeah,
you wet it, and it's just stuff like that. That's the little things that you learn.
Invaluable.
Well, right. And for me, it was similar. It was setting on ice.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, early on, somebody was talking about it. I said, what are you talking about? So, not even, I don't know, a year ago, I was moving one of the statues on campus at A&M, and they said, well, how are you going to put it down? And I said, put it down. Just, it'll be fine. And they're all worried about it. I've got people watching from all over. I tell the guys, and whenever I do set on ice, I keep it, especially then, it was August, I kept it in a cooler. So it wasn't until I got ready to set it down, I had the guys go get it out of the cooler and set it down. And they're sitting there staring at me like, ice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it wasn't, in August, 4 or 5 minutes?
Yep.
And things down right where it needed to be. And I've got all these university folks there staring at me, and they're just jaw dropped and all. And,
Sure.
$4 bag ice.
Well, sure. Same thing from the group. I learned the ice trick and then the sand trick.
Yep.
Filling sandwich bags full of play sand and then taking a long hacksaw blade and sawing into it.
So it's funny that I've actually heard other renditions of this.
Oh.
So taking play sand, and there's two different ways to do this, right? So you can take the play sand, and if you do it wet, it will hold itself together. Okay. The problem is you kind of want it to dry out. Right? So you can set it wet and then let it dry out, and it'll kind of change. But if you put it underneath, and you can mount it up, shovel or whatever, set it down, and then take your air compressor and blow it out.
That's what we've done.
And it will slowly move all that sand out from underneath it, and it just walks it down. If the left side's sinking faster, you can move on.
And it's very controlled.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, it's not like the ice that you're on a timetable.
Yeah.
The sand, you can put a stop to everything and say, okay, everybody, let's reevaluate. This needs to come down a little bit. Just like you said, blow a little out.
Yep. So
I've never done that. That's interesting. First time I've heard of this.
Yeah. And just proof in the pudding that you get something at the convention.
Sure. Yeah. There you go. There you go. I remember another thing that about I don't know if you guys remember the funky shapes that used to come from China. That were real popular. They were like the looked like a drop of water.
Teardrops.
And we were all standing around. Well, how do you pick that up? And somebody walked by and said, well, put a piece of plywood behind it, and you just lay it down. It's like, oh, my gosh.
No, I learned that from y'all whenever I came to y'all's shop.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. One of the first things we did whenever we got back from y'all's shop was we went and bought a piece of 3/4 plywood, and we've got several sizes of it.
Yeah, so we have several sizes, and they're for funky shapes. They're for hearts, single hearts, and any kind of. We don't do a whole lot of those China jobs that are all funky now, but at one time it was very, very popular.
Yeah. Well, Jed, for what you may not realize is what we're talking about are these things called upright monuments.
Really?
And sometimes we'll get them in odd shapes, right? They don't sit flush with the ground as like you do in California.
We always have to use ice to set the flag.
Well, I mean, majority of the monument, the sketches that you show today, you would need something like that to lay them down.
Absolutely.
You would have to.
Yep.
You would risk the belt slipping off or something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's amazing some of the stuff you learn. There's one that I really loved, and I used, I don't know, a month ago, put a deal in front of the high school, and it's a state of Texas shape or whatever for the high school, and the thing's 7 foot tall. I don't have belts that long. I probably should, but I don't have belts that long. And so what I ended up doing was a trick where you take 2 belts, come up from the bottom, and then you slide 2x6 on front and back, and then you put another set of belts and you go up a little higher. And what's great about that is you can pick it up from a laid down position extremely fast, and that bottom just kicks right out from underneath it. And,
that sounds like a Bobby Flitzberger.
I may have gotten that from some German in Houston.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah,
some raspy voiced German.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do it this way. And
Yep.
Daggum drill sergeants.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So
That's one reason why it's important to come here is to know these people. So whenever you hear the impression, it sticks.
Yeah.
I think my favorite still, you can never beat a good Perry Giles impression, and
the enthusiasm in his voice.
No comment.
No, I've got nothing but respect for that man. He's
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. And I mean, if it wasn't for me coming to things like this, I wouldn't have met Perry. I wouldn't have met you. And I mean, y'all opened your doors to me, and that's something that I'll never forget. And there was a lot that I took from that day.
I can't say the same thing for Duff. He and I met somewhere else.
Motorcycle class.
We did legitimately.
Really?
Yeah. Why were you in the motorcycle class?
Because I got a ticket. I was under the impression that my regular driver's license would work as a motorcycle license.
At least that's the story you're sticking to.
And the officer told me it does not compute to the same thing. So I actually had a ticket, and in order to get the ticket off expunged from the record, I had to take a motorcycle driving class, and Tony was in the class.
It happened to be that we were both in the class. It was funny because I pull up, and I guess we had to talk about what we do or something interesting about ourselves, and I said I started a monument shop and and he says, oh my I guess, were you dating at the time?
Yeah, we weren't married at the time.
Yeah, so my girlfriend's dad owns a monument shop. Where? Waxahachie. No.
So that narrows it down real quick.
So after that was the coldest day I've ever ridden on, actually, and they were on these little motorcycles. I kept getting in trouble because I didn't really have gloves. And so what I would do is I'd get up to speed, let go, and put my hand on the engine block to warm my fingers back up. It was miserable.
There were little Hondas. I don't remember what they were. Honda Radicals?
Honda Rebel.
Rebel.
Yeah,
that's it, Rebel.
Yeah.
250cc.
Yeah. You'd drop it and you couldn't hurt the thing.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, these are great events, though. You got to show up and be a part of them. So, but what else you got, Austin? What's coming up next? Any conventions or anything? Do we know anything in the future?
Well, we just finalized all the details for next year's convention.
Yeah. And we're going to... Where are we going?
We're going to the Hilton Lakes DFW, which is near the Gaylord Texan and Grapevine.
Yeah.
And so we like to stay with Hilton Properties because we have a good relationship with them, and they kind of know everything that we do. And so that's kind of been our kind of plan going forward. So we already have that plan. It's going to be a great show there as well. We don't have, other than the dates, we really don't have any particulars for that to really give out right now. But it's going to be a great convention just like this year, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
What are the dates?
It's always, I don't know that, I guess I could look this up, but it's the weekend following Father's Day. So if you've got something going on Father's Day, just the next Thursday following. This is why it's good, I guess, to have planned. I know when my wife's business trip to API is. I do not know when.
Okay, I got it right here.
All right.
June 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
All right. So then
2024.
And that's in Fort Worth. So hopefully the weather's better.
Yeah,
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, Hilton, DFW Lakes, Grapevine, Texas.
Oh, Grapevine. Which is, it's just
What did I say?
Dallas.
I don't know. It's look, it's
all
where
the
I get in
same,
trouble
yeah,
because I'm from Houston. They're all the same to me.
Okay.
Everything in DFW, isn't it? It's all the same thing, isn't it?
It all just meshes together.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas is Fort Worth, and where's Matt Worthington? I love telling him that.
Yes.
Dallas is Fort Worth, and Fort Worth is Dallas.
It's a very mediocre football teams from the area.
Yeah. What about baseball? Anything up? There's nothing up there.
Now there is a heck of a baseball club. Let me tell you what. Arlington, Texas. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Do they have any rings?
Working on it.
No, that's Fort Worth's great because I mean if you're in Grapevine, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to the stockyards. We will be able to go to the stockyards and have a good time. Billy Bob's is just around the corner. Maybe they'll have somebody there, which is fun. It's have you ever been to the stockyards, Jed?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's where I got to watch several people on the same night be fed calf fries without knowing what they were.
We always try to get a place that'd be convenient for our vendors to fly into DFW, so it's really close to the airport. So for our vendors and maybe our members like Jed, who's far away in California, in the Republic of California, he can fly in and not have to have a far drive. So
Perfect.
we try to make it easy on everybody.
Do you have to have a passport to leave that state?
They are talking about that if you move your business,
Yes.
that they're going to tax you for the income that you're taking out of the state.
Huh. So let's hypothetically say you don't move, but what you do is you have to shut down said business and you restart another business in another state.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're talking about like your big.
Oh,
you're talking about your
Yeah.
Teslas and your people that are not going to stop their business and restart it a different name or something.
Yeah.
But if you work out of state, if you spend a single day in California, you're going to be taxed some income tax.
Huh. Well,
It's terrible.
Well, I was just there, and it's a beautiful state.
Yes.
The weather is very nice, and I was telling you, Jed, that the pleasant smell of where I was. I know it sounds strange, but it just smelled very pleasant in California.
It doesn't smell like Galveston?
No, it's not. No, I didn't go to San Francisco or anywhere like that, so I can't say that. But
you were in San Diego.
We were in San Diego, Oceanside, and Anaheim, and all three of those locations were very, very good. And I was impressed by how. One of the things my wife said was, I wish our city would plan things like Oceanside has. Everything was just well planned.
They've done a good job.
Good job. Yep.
So, hey, James, we're gonna make a little bit of a pivot here. James, run over to that table. Will you see the guy with the orange bag? Tell him to get up. He's the bald guy. He's our neighbor. Go tell that guy who lives behind us to come over here.
Oh, he may be on the move.
Yeah, I don't ever talk to him, and because he lives behind me, and I'm sure he's going to tell the HOA I did something.
Good neighbors.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a different animal. He moves in, and now I never see him. So
He's on his way.
he says he's on his way.
Yep.
We're going to bring in Ryan Kilby of Boadie Anderson.
Who do you want to get off?
Whichever. If y'all are tired of us, let us know.
I can
stay.
stay. I'll
You're
stay.
the president.
Okay.
I will excuse myself.
It was great to have you on.
Thank
and obviously,
you.
I get to see you still a little bit, but thank
I'm
everybody
glad
else.
to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you very much.
What, is he running his mouth?
He's got some stipulations for coming on.
I'll have you know, I sent a letter to the HOA about your yard.
What is so funny about this is the fact that you probably received the same email that I did saying that there's an open spot on the HOA board.
I'd have voted for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to nominate you. You don't even know it.
So I got on Chat GPT and I was like, what is a good recommendation for if I want to be on the HOA board, what do I need to say in this application? So it spit out some things, and so I said, okay, here's 6 things I'm going to write down. So I just copied it word for word and emailed it off. And I'm like, if I am president of HOA, Tony's life will be hell. And then I got the brilliant idea that I'm probably, if I don't get elected or picked for this spot, I can't imagine how many people are going to apply for this job, right? Because I know no one.
Yeah.
And so maybe I just make up some fake stuff and put it on Tony's door. Sir, your grass is 3/8 of an inch too tall.
I will get on. I am not on the neighborhood group because I just don't want to hear what the crazies have to say. I will get on there and say, we do not have a president. It has all been run through AI.
So it's interesting because Tony and I do live in the same neighborhood. And I've been in Houston, with my son's medical stuff. So I've been there for a month. And so my wife we're talking on the phone. I'm in Houston. She's in College Station. And so we're talking on the phone. She goes, man, I'm hearing like a lot of people on Facebook are getting notes from HOA about their yard, about their grass being too tall. She goes, I'm surprised we haven't gotten one. I was like, well, we actually did.
Well, hey, all of us here at the table know you. I know there's a lot of people out there that are listening, or tens of people.
Yeah, at least 4.
Right.
And it's going to automatically download, so it doesn't really count.
Correct. So, introduce yourself.
Hello to those 4 people out there. My name is Ryan Kilby. My claim to fame right now is that I live in the same neighborhood as Tony Watson. I have worked in the monument business for 10 years for a company called Boadie Anderson Quarries. Ed and Judy Anderson have been doing that business for about 54 years, family-run business, and just glad to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. No, and I do have my own bias here because obviously I do business with y'all, but you're gonna be hard pressed to find a finer group of people than the people at Anderson Quarries.
Well, I appreciate that, and
For those of y'all who don't know, he's pulling out a wad of cash right this second.
I heard it.
well, because I work at Boadie Anderson Quarries, it's not really a wad.
No, it is. You balled up a bunch of $1 bills.
Okay.
Kansas City roll. Kansas City roll.
So, but yeah, it's I enjoy the aspect of meeting people and talking to people and talking to them about their granite needs. Talking to awesome young guys. Sorry about that. Talking to awesome young guys and families, and just meeting needs that are out there.
Oh, we got Tanner Lewis coming over here tagging. He's putting graffiti on the hotel.
Yeah, the hotel will charge you for that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, my understanding is that kind of graffiti is going to cost you $10,000.
It's peelable.
It's not like the pictures, though, right?
Oh, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Warranty is a great object.
Yeah. Tanner came in with a great advertising scheme this time. I don't know if you saw it, Ryan. He showed up with pictures that were busted to show how well he will warranty everything that's on his table.
No questions asked warranty.
He needs a mustache, too. He's got his Magnum PI shirt on.
Recently shaved.
We don't have the shorts on, though.
I will say, talking
He does
about,
have the slow motion rundown.
This heat, I had to shave the legs too.
Oh, yeah. Now, I will say, talking about his warranty, he's one of the first porcelain suppliers I've ever seen. Just to prove a point, made a video of him running over one of his porcelains in their parking lot.
Oh, that went viral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All twos people watched it, huh?
For the wrong reason.
I will say, though, his warranty is really good. We had I won't go into a lot of detail, but we had a mistake on something that we did, and it was behind the picture. And I said, hey, I messed up. I got to break the picture to get it off. Yeah, and I had to break the picture to get it off. He warrantied it and sent me a new one. Didn't charge me for it, so I was rather happy with it. Tanner's always done a great job of taking care of us.
This podcast is broadcasted by.
Shameless plug.
So, no, it's even with Boadie Anderson, y'all have always been really great to us when we've used y'all and taken really good care of us. And in fact, we had one where a particular family had lost two children in a car accident, and there was they had a stillborn prior to that, and family obviously tough. They lost every one of their children at some point in time. And the monument had gone back and forth in design and whatnot, and kind of set at y'all's place for 2 years almost, right?
Yes.
And so we didn't get, the Andersons were phenomenal to us and didn't say much about it. Said, look, we got to move. At some point in time, after 2 years, you go, hey, we got to move this. And it was understandable, and we brought it down to us and everything. But, nobody pushed that family. We let them take their time. It was really probably too soon for them to buy that monument at that time. And, the Andersons were great about it. And, Judy was phenomenal and understood. And, that's what this is about anyway.
Yeah, it is. And I will say this. That was a unique design, and I think it turned out great.
Oh, it did. It's funny because that was one that I was apprehensive on for a while. Like, I liked it when I designed it. I got it to the shop, and I'm going, I don't know. And maybe it was because I'd seen it for so long or whatever. And then finally I got it into the cemetery and put together and stepped back from it, and I go, oh, that worked.
Yeah.
It just was it. So I'm very fortunate that it's right behind my shop, so I still get to see it fairly often and whatnot. But that family has become very good friends of ours and whatnot because of how we took care of them. Just letting them do them.
Yeah.
In fact, at one point in time, they said, well, how long do we, and look, this is going to be one of those comments that people are going to go, oh, we should have charged storage fees or or rushed them or whatever. But the way we handled it for that particular family, I wouldn't change a thing. I didn't charge them extra. And whenever they said, well, what do we need to do? I said, look, it's kids. Take your time. This is tough.
Sure.
So it worked out well. So how's the convention been for y'all, you think?
I think it's been a great convention so far. Some of the same players you always see, right? But then there's been some new people here, some young people, right? Fresh blood, and I think that it's good to see a younger business owner in the monument business. I mean, it is what it is.
This is an old industry. This is
you see a lot of owners that are older.
I've been said to say it is a dead end job. So
They don't have that button on there.
Hold on. Yeah.
I've been replaced by a button. But yeah, it's been great to see some of the younger and eager to learn, and that's and I shared with them, anybody that's eager to learn, I told them it doesn't matter if you don't buy anything from us. If you need information and we can help you with information, man, call us. This family has been doing this business for 54 years. They have a lot of knowledge to share, regardless if you buy anything. Because the strength of this business, the strength of this, only gets better as people work together.
Yeah, sure. And I can't think of one right now, but I know for sure that Ed has given us tips for handling different granite, polishing. I mean, y'all have shop seminars at your place. I think we got one maybe coming up pretty soon that we talked about, maybe in the fall. Is that right?
Correct.
And so you guys open.
Do you know about this yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anderson Quarries, they open their shop up for us members, and we can come and get some hands-on training by, frankly, experts in the field, people that actually do the work, and it's something that this is something we offer our members, and it's another perk of being a member of Southern Monument Builders, and we just appreciate that opportunity that you guys
We've got
give us.
We've actually got Austin and I are trying to start a petition to see if we can get Max to show us some shell rocking.
No, that was what I told Max on the phone yesterday. Was that one of the stipulations? That us agreeing to help. Schedule the shop seminar, everything like that. Is that Max has to do a hands-on presentation of some sort, shell rocking,
Well, I think Max needs to be a presenter at each thing, whatever it is.
This would be like this is how not to do it, and this is how to do it, right?
Exactly.
He's always really eager to show people the granite stretcher that they have there.
His ears are burning.
If you couldn't hear Tanner sitting here, he says he just got an email from Max, and it's,
I'm going to him.
he's going to him. Sorry. I'm excited about that. I mean, it is across the river in no man's land, but it's. We brought you back into the promised land, and
This is what I believe. Anybody that can go to a supplier, right? A true manufacturer. I think any business that can go there, they learn more. They gain knowledge, and it helps in sales, and it helps in quality. It helps in your timeline, everything, because you're learning and you're growing. And so anybody that comes, it's a pure win. There's no downside to it.
It'll make you better at your job.
Yeah,
is what it'll
exactly.
do. I mean, whenever like they say, see how the bread's made. I mean, it'll teach you things that if you wouldn't have witnessed it firsthand, you would never know. You understand then that there's certain things you can do with that rock that you never thought you could do. And I mean, especially just, talking from, with any of y'all up there, y'all are a wealth of knowledge. even just down to simple setting techniques. You know, there's some things that I've had before that I was scared to set. And one phone call to Ed, one phone call to John, and, you know, they're like, you ain't got to worry about it. This is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And then follow that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of those big things is we'll get hung up on, I think, doing it the first time, right? Mm-hmm. It's that I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to crack it. I'm going to scratch it or whatever. And so it's, no, you've got this. You know, it's not that big a deal. You can do it this way. Just if you because they've done it so many times, it's not that big a deal. Mm-hmm. But I have not been led down the wrong path once.
Never
yet. Right. So there's not been one individual who's come back and said, you know, go do it this way, and then come to turn out that that is going to cause damage to the stone or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so it's stuff like, you know, whether it's Perry, you Duff, you Austin, or you Ryan, y'all care more about my family than y'all care about trying, you know, whatever information it's and the same. Likewise, you know, I care more about the families y'all are serving to give you the right information.
Sure, because the information that we're giving out, and it's the same with the Anderson Quarries. I mean, it's come from us actually breaking something, and that's how we know how to do it. Yeah. And so we want to keep from people from going through that same thing, and not so much it's the how too, but the why, the why we do it this way, because last time we did it this way, we dropped it, or last time we did it this way, somebody got hurt, or whatever it is. And so having that knowledge that we can get on these shop seminars, or just going to, like you were talking about, just going and picking up your material from you guys, and just seeing how y'all operate is something that which I haven't been there in a long time.
Everybody needs to see an 11/6 saw run.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
I want one. I mean,
You could put it right beside your desk.
Yeah, sure.
That's the only open spot you've got.
I sent a text message to Ross Oglesby the other day, and it's like, it was a picture of a stone. I was like, I need to buy a wire saw.
I heard that they had a fire. Is that?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear anything else about that.
Everything seems like it's fine. I heard there's a fire sale coming.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't say that.
No. Every it was really just in their packaging department, their crating department. So every thing is fine. They've got some electrical work to do and some cleanup stuff to do, or whatever. But it really was not too terribly bad.
That's good. That's good.
Everybody's safe.
Yeah.
Nobody got hurt. It was in the middle of the night, so they'll get all that stuff taken care of.
Sure.
So, but yeah, well, you know, it's still, you know, glad they got things taken care of. Nobody's hurt, and you know, prayers for them as they move forward and stuff like that. So, but no, they Oglesby's good people too. They've always been good to me. So, yeah, y'all sharing secrets here?
Well, don't want to throw anything out there that's not.
All I can say is I spoke with Ed about it today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now they're talking about their seminar that's coming up. There's an event that they do. Don't want to get into too many details,
Is
but
it the Granite Olympics?
No.
Does it involve me getting that baseball that's on the table?
I'll let Ryan get into it.
Basically, you know, you want every customer to know that they're appreciated, right? You want every customer to know they're appreciated. No one has to buy granite from you. Not one person is obligated to buy from you. Mm-hmm. So for everybody that does, we want to say thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a genuine thing. And so one of the things that we would like to do is have like a customer appreciation month and have an event in which that happens and food's involved. Maybe a little bit of drink is involved. So.
Water, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Sweet tea.
Fire water.
I mean, maybe some Topo Chicos.
I like some Topo Chico.
Yeah.
And bologna sandwiches and Topo Chico.
Burns as it goes down.
Yeah.
Right. Thick cut bologna.
But yeah, that's what, you know, so, and I don't do this to sit here and promote and whatever, but I mean, I think that's things that get lost, even on the other direction. So I'm gonna brag for a second and on a separate supplier, just because it happened to be that situation. we did a big job that Cold Spring really knocked out of the park and pulled a rabbit out of their hat and got stuff done for us. And a lot of it had to do with Sandra Connors, pulling out the stops and really pushing people to make sure that stuff got done.
She's an awesome person.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best suppliers, reps out there.
And heavily involved with our association.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so about a year ago, my wife and I were in Fredericksburg, Texas, and we were visiting some wineries, and I ended up setting up an account with one of the wineries as a subscription through our business. And what we do now is we collect those bottles, and I save them really to say thank you. And so if y'all saw, I had a bottle of wine there in the class earlier. That was because that was my thank you to her for really pulling out all the stops and making sure that we looked good in front of our customer. And I think that's one of those things. So while y'all do that stuff, or are doing that stuff for us, I don't think that should be lost on retailers reciprocating and making sure. Because, it's like a lot of people, you go, oh, I just want my check.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But sometimes it's a little bit more. I don't think y'all understand, and I've said this before, even when it comes down to our design contest. So we'll judge our design contest and here tomorrow and count the ballots or whatever. One of the things I plan on doing is the winners of those contests, I'm going to make sure that they tell me who the manufacturer of that stone was, because it's important.
Yeah.
We are nothing without our manufacturers.
It's a group effort.
Yeah, I cannot pull. I can't pull the rock out of the ground.
Oh yeah, and sitting here at this table, you, Ryan, you have pulled my butt from the fire before. Tanner has done the exact same thing. I mean, the way that y'all step up for us, it makes us look good to our families, and a lot of times these families, they don't see all the things that are happening behind the scenes. They don't see the worry and the stress. Hey, we got deadlines to make.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that at the end of the day, what this is going for is somebody who loved their loved one so much that they're wanting to remember them for life.
Yeah.
And if you keep that in perspective, everything else is pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I feel passionate about that, even though I'm a supplier on the supplier end, and I may not deal with your customer, but it's someone, and everybody deserves a memorial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves to know at the end of the day that I was on this earth, they was on this, they were here.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal to me.
Yeah. And one of the statements I've been making lately as well to my families has been this. They're going to go out and they're going to spend money on a monument. So let's pick a number, and we'll just hypothetically say it's $4,500 they're going to spend on a monument for their loved one. Whether they come to me or they go down the road, let's say that $4,500 is the same. What I want is that $4,500 to be meaningful, right? So that comes to the design aspect of it, but it also comes to the service aspect of it as well. And what I need for whenever that job is done, the quality of that job is superb and the quality of the design is superb. And I need them to have walked away going, I can come back out here and relive great memories.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I've now done it. I've checked it off my list. I've spent $4,500. I'm never going back out there. It's done. How much more meaningful is that money if they spent that $4,500 and now they go back out there?
Yeah.
And now they're out there once every few months or.
Yeah. It's a little bit different for me, more than it did. I lost my mother a year and a half ago, right? And so I personally designed her monument. For my mom and for my dad, and then I drove it to North Carolina, where my brothers are like how exactly are we going to get this out of the back of the truck? You just got to trust me.
That's what Tony and I are going to say when we unload that one of his.
Trust, I'm a professional. And
We use that term very loosely in our shop.
and they're like, yeah, you've taken us down this road before. But but we set it and we do it as a family, and it's there, and all my family's in North Carolina. I'm the only one that's not, besides my sons, and so I talk to them all the time, and they're like, yeah, we drive by it, we see it, we see where it's at, and they're there all the time, and how much they appreciate it, and I just, if that's me, we're just like everyone else. If that's us,
yes,
that's everyone.
Right. And one of the best ways I've ever seen that put into words is that marker that y'all have, Duff, that y'all have at y'all shop, the Love's Last gift.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know it verbatim or anything like that, but that's pretty impactful.
Sure. And that's why it's such a, we're kind of beating the dead horse here, but that's why it's so important for families. It's the last thing that a loved one can do last thing you can do for your loved one is purchase their memorial. There's nothing else after that's over. There's really nothing left. And we're at the end stage of that process, and there's a lot of emotions going on. And I for one, and I know everybody else is probably the same. We get hardened to that emotional aspect of it, and it's not that we're thinking, oh, it's just a sale. It's just that we think we get to the point where it's a daily occurrence. So for us, we have to make sure that we remember that, like what you just said, this is a person that is very emotional, and this is what they're doing for their loved one to remember them forever. And every now and then I have to remind myself of what we're doing.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
So the way I look at things, chime in here. The way I've been looking at things lately is I've cleared off my desk, been a quiet place. I sit down, I want to try to write my own obituary.
Sure.
All right? I look at that. I don't like what I see sometimes. Throw it away. Now I want to write it the way I want it.
Right.
And feel for that.
Sure.
To me, that's impactful, and that's the way I want to live.
Right.
To be just like that.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that's something we should all reflect on as we go through. I know I've designed my monument a few times, and it changes and whatnot.
So what color is your monument?
Georgia gray.
Salisbury pink.
Man, look, okay.
Dark cloud.
Yeah. So my dad, we're actually fixing to have to redo.
I don't have a glass, or I would take a shot. But I can drink from the bottle.
They're clean glasses.
Well, it's
And
it's
he's
fine.
actually pouring grape juice
Yeah, it's grape juice.
that looks like whiskey.
It's funny you bring up Salisbury pink. Where my grandmother's monument is Salisbury pink, and my dad asked, he said, I want it to be pink. I'm like, I hate that color.
Yep.
So, and now I've got to redo a couple others in it.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it. But, all right. Well, I know this is a long one, but apparently they're pulling the coffee out of here, so this is probably kicking us out. But,
Getting the hook in here.
Yeah. But it's great conversation.
Yes, great to be face to face.
Appreciate y'all's time, and it's good to see y'all. And of course, I get to see y'all tomorrow, and y'all have to see me. Y'all don't get a choice.
Is this the first time y'all have done it together?
Yep.
Yes.
First live one.
Yeah.
First
You know how far the drive is from me to him?
Well, I didn't know. I'm ignorant.
I've got to pass you to get to him.
Not saying anything.
You're in our neighborhood.
So, yeah. Are your dogs going to bark at me the next time I run?
Well, I've kind of shown them your picture, and then
Except every time he shows him your picture, he slaps him.
So, but no, thanks guys for showing up and
Yes,
being
thank
with
y'all.
us and
Thank
talking
y'all very
about
much.
it.
I don't actually hit my dogs. No dogs were harmed.
The recording of this podcast.
Exactly. They just hate Tony.
They just hate me. No, and am I hesitate? Am I off base in saying I texted you to tell you that they were barking at me on my run?
Yes,
I've always heard that dogs are a good, judge of character.
Well, and I told Tony that my dogs are upset because they view my house as their dog house, and that they had to sleep outside that night. And Tony said, "Oh, they woke up on the wrong side of the house."
Well,
So on that one, I think we'll call it, and it's been good, and we'll
been fun.
move on to the next one. And the next one won't be at a convention; it's going to be probably back from my chair.
Yep.
Well, you won't be in my chair. I'll be in my chair. You can be in your own chair.
We should switch.
Oof. That means I'm that close to Oklahoma.
Somebody's got to hold the line.
Sorry, Ed. we may have to go. We get back to the history thing. We may have to go over the history of how Texas bombed Oklahoma.
That is correct.
I'm gonna call Ken Wise on that one.
Yep. Well, until next time.
Until next time.
Thanks for having
guys.
me on.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Thank y'all.
Thanks for having me.